I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.
Now, in no way, shape, or form have I ever been known to be a Tyler Perry fan, but I don't think that really matters right now. I'm noticing a pattern. I've been noticing a pattern. I constantly make these videos and I speak about a pattern. And there's a list. There's a list of men that the list is 95 to 97% black men. Many are actors, entertainers, producers, athletes, all a part of the black community. All of them now have pending cases in the Southern District of New York, yet none of them reside in the state of New York except for Eric Adams. In the Southern District of New York, they've changed the laws and they've allowed people to levy allegations against you, no proof required, and there is no statute of limitations at all. So that's why you see Diddy, who's not a resident of New York. He actually lives in Florida and California. For him to be he's now being tried in a Southern District of New York federal court. The same thing is going to happen to the rest of them as well. Right now, we're doing a story on Tyler Perry. This Tyler Perry case, all of these civil lawsuits after what happened to Diddy, all civil lawsuits now can be turned into Rico criminal cases. The reason is the women or the people in these lawsuits, the alleged victims, they have to exaggerate or there has to be some kind of substance there so that they can win a judgment. That's why these are civil cases, they want money. However, law enforcement now see this as an opening to seize assets from certain individuals. If you have a case saying that you were sexually harassed and sexually assaulted, and the person paid for you to go to an island or you guys were filming in a different location, they can now say that you were being trafficked between locations. I'm listening to the Diddy case very closely. The government has successfully changed the designation of women from being girlfriends or side chicks or sugar babies. The government has now said they are all 304s. They're all prostitutes. The government has effectively, in the Diddy case, said there is no such thing as a woman who can make decisions on her own volition, a woman who can decide what she wants to do for herself. Everything a woman does is fraud from a man or coercion from a man. And the government is also saying that all women are prostitutes. So if you fly a woman to see you and you guys end up having sex because she likes you, it doesn't matter. You actually paid for a plane ticket, you paid for food in the hopes of getting sex. So what you were doing was you were soliciting sex, and everything you were doing was in the furtherance of prostitution. The precedent that's being set in this Diddy trial is beyond apparently what a lot of people are understanding. This Tyler Perry case can easily turn into a Rico case because what they're going to say is who in Tyler Perry's inner circle on his staff facilitated the meetings where these incidents took place, who bought the plane tickets, who ordered the food, who rented the venues, etc. Anybody on your staff, they can now say we're part of your criminal enterprise because you committed a crime while you were there. There's no way to say, I want to sue this person civilly for something that is not a criminal offense. Typically, you go the civil route in lieu of the criminal. But now the government is going beyond that to charge you criminally for things that someone was suing you for. That's why the Cassie case, after he settled with her, she's still testifying against him. And they're trying to piece together basically the past 20 years of his life to show that even though he does drugs on a personal basis, he doesn't sell drugs, and he has a bunch of girlfriends, but he's not married to them, so they're all prostitutes, that he basically was operating a criminal enterprise of sex trafficking, prostitution, and throwing sex parties, which I had no idea was illegal. Tyler Perry is going to end up the same way. So is Jamie Foxx. 50 Cent already has 2 accusers. He's also on the menu. Then you have Ray J. Then, I mean, the list goes. And then you have, of course, Shannon Sharp's eventually going to be prosecuted in the Southern District of New York as well. All of these people are on the menu. Listen to this Tyler Perry case and then compare it to the Diddy case. Anytime these people are moved from different locations and you came on to them or you complimented them or you said something a little inappropriate, those are all going to be used as a crime. And basically, they're going to say that under the threat of losing your job and losing your money, you consented to certain things, or you stuck around, or you didn't file, or you didn't quit because you needed the money. You're a victim. Black men are very soft targets in the United States. Anyone around you can be considered a victim. Male or female, straight or gay, doesn't matter. Everyone that you come in contact with, everyone who works for you is a victim. And that's how it's going to work. My suggestion, if you're a black male and you have a substantial portfolio of assets, liquidate and move to another country. Come back here when you need to operate or do business in the United States temporarily. Do not have families here. Do not date here. Do not have kids here. Don't vacation here. No sex here. It's a dangerous place. If you do so, it's at your own risk. And if you end up in a situation like one of these men, you could have avoided, it's kind of your fault. Anybody can now levy a accusation against you with zero proof from 20 years ago, one of your ex-girlfriends. It does not matter. Even if you comply and you give her the money, you're still going to jail. She will still show up to testify against you. An NDA won't help. A settlement won't help. All norms in the legal system are out of the window, and you have to understand the times that we're in.
Writer and director Tyler Perry is being sued by a former actor of one of his hit shows, The Oval, accusing Tyler Perry of SA.
Here we go now.
On breaking news, when we go live, or when we upload. So as you know, Tyler Perry has been doing press for his new hit movie, Straw, starring Taraji P. Henson. So the timing of this lawsuit, a lot of people are calling out. Well, one of his former actors are calling him out in a $260 million lawsuit. TMZ has the report stating this. They said Tyler Perry is facing an accusation of sexual assault, a claim coming from an actor on his long-running TV show, The Oval, and one Tyler Perry's camp calls a scam. Derek Dixon filed a lawsuit against Tyler Perry, and in the docs, he claims that he and the director met at an event back in 2019. In Derek's words, Tyler picked him out of the crowd and asked him for his phone number, suggesting that he might have a role for him.
Now, this is common between men and women, but it's also apparently common in the gay community. Tyler Perry is known for dressing as a woman. I've always known him to be gay. Didn't know he had a woman that was his alleged partner a year ago. Had no clue, no idea. I always thought he was gay. This other guy is obviously a gay man as well. You can't even hit on, now this is before they were working for each other. This is before he was working for him. He was actually a contractor working at an event that Tyler Perry is hosting. You can't even compliment someone. You can't even offer them a job. You can't even hit on them as far as, get to know them or talk to them. Everything years later can be twisted around into you victimizing these people. And do you understand how much $250 million, that's over $250 million. Did Tyler Perry unalive him? No. Did he strangle him? No. Did he grape him? No. But you're asking for 200. So in business, we call this the big ask. You ask for something huge, and then when they counter, it's with a smaller offer. But that smaller offer, because your initial request was so high, the smaller offer is usually 2 or 3 times what you actually wanted in the first place. And then it seems like they're getting a deal, but really you're coming up. All of these money plays are being positioned primarily against black male targets, mainly is because there's a lot of dysfunction in the black community. in the black community, you can turn the black community against black men with money, whether they're gay or straight, easier than any other community on earth or in the country. See, if there's any injustices against other communities, people protest, people riot, there's lawsuits. However, in the black community, if you're targeting black men, the black community will support you. They will champion you, sending them to jail and taking away their money. It's a dysfunction in the community. It's a mental issue. It's a mental illness issue. So that's why it's easier to go after them. When you look at the R. Kelly case, railroaded, no evidence. That's why they had to charge him under a single man RICO. Never been done in history until the Diddy case. Less evidence against him than they had against Diddy. Still was able to get a conviction. No protests. The black community was happy. Not because he's a monster, but because they like to see their people go down. You're going to see the same rally around Tyler Perry. The gay community will support him, but the black community and the gay community are going to conflict over him. You'll see that in the coming weeks. When it comes to the Diddy trial, it's the black community, for the most part, that are hoping he burns and wants to see him convicted. They will turn on Tyler Perry as well. It's already started, actually. And the wave of other lawsuits. Anyone that's ever rode an elevator with Tyler Perry, anyone that's ever passed him on a bike road or shook his hand in a restaurant, or they were alone for 5 seconds in a conference room 20 years ago, everyone's going to have a story. Everyone's going to be a victim. You're going to see the same thing that happened. I'd be surprised if I'd be shocked if Tony Busby doesn't jump in on this, set up a hotline for Tyler Perry victims, people that felt like they were fired from acting jobs because they wouldn't give it up, or people that were pressured to give it up and they're ashamed to come out. And when he's talking about settlements between 5 and 15 million, I'm surprised. I'd be shocked if Tony Busby doesn't come up with a hotline for Tyler Perry alone.
As it turns out, he did. Derek says that Tyler gave him a small role in 2 episodes of a show called Ruthless. Then, in January of 2020, Derek says that Tyler invited him to his Atlanta home, and he accepted, hoping to build a friendship that would lead to more acting gigs. But according to the suit, while there, Derek drank too much and ended up sleeping in a guest bedroom. In the court docs obtained by TMZ, Derek claims that Tyler got in bed with him and started touching his thighs. And although he rejected the advances that night, he claims Tyler remained interested. Shortly thereafter, Derek says that he landed the role of Dale in The Oval, great for his career, but he claims it was around this time that Tyler also started firing off sexually suggestive text messages, including asking what Drew's sexual preferences were and telling him that he has sex with men. It should be noted, Tyler Perry at this particular point has never come out as homosexual. There have been a lot of rumors about him possibly being homosexual, but Tyler has never confirmed. I don't even think he's even denied it either. Derek also notes his character Dale was
I want to say this on record. I don't think that's appropriate to send sexually suggestive text messages to your employees. I frown upon that personally. I don't believe in fraternization. It is a power dynamic, and it can come off as the person is afraid, or, they can lose their job. I'm not for that. I think Eddie's wrong for that. But 260 million. And then eventually, now watch, you're going to hear they're going to be in different locations. This is Rico. By the way, everything is Rico going forward in American society. Everything is Rico. Everything. Because losing you under Rico, the charges, the sentencing is ridiculous. No matter how innocent you are, you could have never even been there. But you're going to take a plea because you can't risk getting convicted and ending up in 40, 50 years. If you have to plead guilty and take 5 years and you're ensnared into Rico, you're going to do it, guilty or not. Everybody's not going to have the resources to fight a case like Puff Daddy. You don't have it. So, by the way, eventually this Tyler Perry will be a Rico. Keep that in mind.
written as gay, homeless, and desperate store clerk who had to sleep with other characters for a place to stay. He claims that's exactly what Tyler told him he was looking for in a real-life sexual partner, someone who would be loyal and dependent upon Tyler. Derek says that he feared his career would be derailed if he flatly rejected Tyler, so instead he told him that he just wasn't the sexual type. But he was always terrified he'd lose his job if he complained of sexual harassment. To that point, he says that Tyler once again invited him to Atlanta later in 2020, and things allegedly took a dark turn. Derek claims that Perry greeted him warmly, but quickly started a sexually charged conversation, like asking him if he likes it rough in bed, and then grabbed Derek by the throat while saying, "Look how excited you just got."
I don't know, Tyler Perry. Big nigga in a dress. Kind of reminds me of Larry Johnson, Grandmama. Do I see Tyler Perry grabbing one of his actors or one of his employees, knowing how dangerous that is for his career? Do I see Tyler Perry grabbing him by his throat in public? I mean, that's why I said you got to ask for evidence. Were there any witnesses? Did anybody see this? Yes, there's text messages between them, but it just seems like two gay dudes flirting. I don't know if you can play the victim card the same as a woman if you're also a man, whether you're gay or not, because you're still both men. If you don't want something, you say no. If you don't like something, you say no. You're not going to give him a blowjob or do something outrageous because you don't want to lose your job. Jobs are not that important. They're a dime a dozen. Go work somewhere else. But I don't know if they're going to think that this man was in such a bad situation and dissolute that he had to mess with Tyler Perry or endure such abuse when he could have just quit and went and worked somewhere else. I mean, that's the thing now. Like, is quitting no longer an option? Is leaving employment no longer a thing? Now you have to sue every employer, every issue. If you're fired, it's actually because of something sexual or something racial. Opening the doors for all these frivolous lawsuits, it's going to destabilize our country. And it's already destabilizing our economy. It's destabilizing work environments. And now I'm understanding more and more why people just outsource everything abroad. Because in the United States, I'm not saying there's a thing, it's too much protection, but there's too many ways for you to abuse the protections they have in the workplace. And I think we're seeing a little bit of that with Tyler Perry, because then again, I read through the text messages, but I'm like, were there any other witnesses? Was anybody there when he grabbed you by your throat? That's what I mean by people have to exaggerate and put extras on stuff to make it more salivating to justify how much money you're asking for. But if he put his hands and he grabbed them, that's a crime. And anybody who set up the event and worked the event is a part of a criminal organization now. This can be a Rico already. It doesn't even take this much for this to be a Rico. And people don't realize that. They think it's a game. No, this is real. Like, they're really applying Rico to everything. This right here, all the hallmarks of a Rico.
He says that he pushed Tyler away, and that was the end of the alleged incident. The lawsuit includes years of text messages allegedly sent by between both men.
So you're texting this man who's abusing you, harassing you, and trying to force you into sex. You're texting him back and forth for years. And that's just the thing. Like, they say, well, if she texts you on Monday and wants to have sex with you, doesn't mean she wants to have sex with you Tuesday. What the fuck does that matter? We didn't even have sex on Tuesday. I didn't force her to have sex ever. So what does it matter if she wanted to have sex one day but not the other? It's not like anybody was forcing anybody. If you're maintaining a relationship with someone, now they want to frown upon that. You can't even text someone who's interested in you. Matter of fact, somebody can't even pretend to be interested in you because later on they can say they just felt pressured to pretend. And that, like, this is just basically they're saying there's no such thing as an adult unless you're a person with money. And if you're a person with the money, you're the adult. And as the adult, anybody who you're dealing with is the weaker victim, the employee, the subordinate. They're all victims now. That's a really bad precedent to start setting for American society, where everyone's a victim of yours just because you have the money. So these are not adults who can choose to have sex with, who can choose to flirt, who can choose to deal with. Everything is coercion or force or out of fear. no one's just being an adult anymore, choosing to do what they want to do with themselves. I resent that. I resent that you're taking away basically the agency that a person has and saying these people are all victims. They cannot choose. They're too dumb to choose for what they want to do with themselves. It all is coercion or force. I resent that. I resent it.
Here's the thing. I did start to read through the text messages. I just thought to myself, I literally could go in my phone right now and change one of my contacts to Tyler Perry. However, when you file a lawsuit and then there's discovery, they can verify whether or not these text messages were between Derek and Tyler. Just want to point that out. But I just said we ourselves as laymen cannot confirm or deny whether these text messages are real. Only.
And that's a very good point. And the thing is, in this lawsuit, if they do verify and discover and find out that he did change the name and it wasn't Tyler Perry, that these are from his messages, they're not going to prosecute the person that just tried to commit the fraud because they're seeing him as a victim, as a woman. When women make false allegations against someone and it's proven to be false, they just say, oh, they don't penalize the woman. They don't go after them. So if this man was trying to commit fraud and frame Tyler Perry, they find out in discovery that these text messages were not to him, they're not going to do nothing. And that's the problem. There's no consequences for these people who are for alleged victims. Let's say alleged. There's no consequences. So there's no reason for them not to file fake frivolous lawsuits in the hopes of getting a settlement. You know, some of these law firms will actually advance you part of your settlement because they know there is eventually going to be one. Some of these people are just bringing up these cases to go to a law firm. And then what's the law firm going to do? Sue you? They knew you didn't have any money. What are you going to do? You can't get blood out of a turnip. But it's all just a hustle, a big scam. And I guess, you know how do people scam senior citizens? I guess black males with assets and money are the new senior citizens because there's really no way to defend yourself at all.
An expert. And the only reason why I mentioned that is because we literally are talking about that in the Diddy trial, where they had forensic specialists come in and confirm deleted text messages, and they confirmed that they came from the known parties. The text messages, I mean, we can go through them if you guys want to. However, let me continue in regards to what is discovered, the main points that are coming out from this lawsuit and from the text messages. So to that point, he says that Tyler once again invited him to Atlanta in late 2020, and things allegedly took a dark turn. Derek claims that Perry greeted him warmly, but quickly started a sexually charged conversation, like asking him if he likes it rough in bed.
I understand you're not supposed to talk like that to employees, but if this is somebody who you've had a relationship, a friendship with over years, are sexually charged conversations illegal? And if it's not via text, how do you prove that this ever even happened? You know, there's no burden of proof anymore. That's the part that's worrying.
Then grabbed Derek by the throat while saying, "Look how excited you got." He says that he pushed Tyler away, and that was the end of the alleged incident. The lawsuit includes years of text messages allegedly sent by between both men. Most of the ones Tyler allegedly sent are sexually charged. For instance, one reads, "No straight man would be going on walks with you or cooking dinner for you unless they wanted to F you. I would F you." And here's the thing, and we've talked about this a lot here on the channel. And
again, two adult grown men texting each other for years, thousands of text messages, and we're going to cherry pick a handful. And again, I mean, who are we to judge what type of rapport these two men had? It wasn't like this was a typical employee-employer relationship, probably because they're both gay. They're more comfortable with each other. Who else are you going to talk to? It's not like you're a woman and I'm victimizing you. You're another man. Not trying to give Tyler Perry an out, but just trying to look at this from a realistic point of view in the real world. Two men talking to each other. If the other man doesn't say, "Hey, listen," and you know, because setting boundaries is okay. You can set boundaries with your boss. You can set boundaries with your family, and you can say, "Hey, you know, let's keep this professional. I really don't feel comfortable having conversations like that or certain comments. You know, I went through a breakup, went through a lot." You can set boundaries. But if you don't set boundaries and you're also crossing the line in your text sometimes, and you're making little jokes and this, someone's gonna kind of give you that same energy back. But you can't cry foul later when you're flirting with a guy for years and he's flirting back. Come on.
Regards to entertainment and how the lines of professionalism are so blurred, but they cannot be blurred because we have to remember this is allegedly Tyler talking to an employee, a subordinate. Again, we have not verified whether or not these text messages are even real. We can't even go by that. And you can edit text messages now too. That's the crazy thing.
I'm surprised this even made the day. I wonder why. I mean, this is a guy who's poor. I wonder why he wouldn't have just taken another settlement. I'm sure Tyler offered him $25 million, or his legal team did. I mean, Tyler's worth so much that it doesn't. I mean, he's had a pretty flawless record over the years. No women have ever convicted, no women have ever accused him of anything. I guess we know why. But for him to kind of turn down Tyler's initial offers and ask for over $250 million, and there was nobody died. Like this is just insane to me.
They said the most aggressive incident allegedly went down in June of 2021, again at Tyler's Atlanta home. Dixon was staying in the guest house and wearing only his underwear when he says that Tyler came in to give him a goodnight hug. Wait a minute. I mean, I get it because we've talked about this before when, women are in these positions, but now we have another instance where you're staying at Tyler's home and you've already turned him down and he's made multiple advances.
Look, we got to listen, Linda. We gotta keep it consistent across the board. Remember, women are equals. They're not our victims. Women are equals. So these are men that we're talking about now. If a woman is talking about how she's not sexually attracted to this man, yet here she is again at this man's house, walking around in her underwear, flirting with the man, how is the man supposed to know? In this situation, it's a gay man. And I'm sure the gay stuff is difficult. It's way harder for Tyler Perry to get action as a gay man than a straight man because, well, everyone, the eyes are on you. You're not openly gay. So you got this dude at your house in his drawers, and you're an older guy. This guy works out every day. I mean, he's walking around in his underwear, or he's in his room. Why are you staying at his house again overnight if this guy's coming on to you? It seems like this was a setup. And honestly, I think everything's a setup for the most part, because everything is a setup. People plot on you. Like I always say, sometimes you only have one shot at becoming a millionaire. Alex Fine took his shot when he married Cassie. He knew what was going on, but he knew she also used to be married to a billionaire. She's been in a relationship with a billionaire. He knew there was going to be a settlement coming eventually. This man right here is playing the long game with Tyler Perry. Had no interest in him sexually, but yet here he is at his house in his underwear. And of course, you guys are both being gay to each other. Of course, he's going to want to come in there and give you a good night hug. You never set any boundaries for him. I mean, you guys are both men, so I don't know who's the victim. How do you say you're scared of Tyler Perry, but yet here you are at his house? And I asked that for the women around Diddy all 10 years. They don't live together. They're literally driving to Diddy, but yet he's the monster. Then why do you keep going over there? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's like you guys are all saying that no one can decide for themselves. No one's smart enough to figure it out. Yet these people are allowed to get licenses and drive cars and vote. Like, you got to make up you can't have it both ways. Either they're not smart enough to figure things out, or they are. You can't have it both ways.
And I also will see in the comment section, people will have a different response versus a man versus a woman. But he says the most aggressive incident allegedly went down in June of 2021. Remember, he talks about two other instances that were in 2019 and 2020. So he says that the most aggressive incident allegedly went down in June of 2021, again at Tyler's Atlanta home. Dixon was staying in the guest house and wearing only his underwear. I will say this, in defense of Dixon, we will also remember that Tyler, although he has a studio now, but remember, there were times where Tyler would use his homes, and I'm sure he probably still does, uses certain parts of his home to still film things. So it could be that maybe that was part of it, trying to give some context here.
Everybody has a choice. You're being paid. Everybody can call an Uber and go the fuck home. You're only somewhere that you want to be because you want to be there, not because you're forced to, not because it's this. Bro, all these excuses. We're adults here. Adults have to decide what they want to do. Adults have autonomy. You cannot just blame other adults for which your decisions that you make as an adult. You cannot do that.
So Dixon was staying in the guest house and wearing only his underwear when he says Tyler came in to give him a goodnight hug. He alleges that Tyler yanked down his underwear, groped his butt, and said, "Relax and just let it happen," and assured him it wasn't going to hurt.
The guy works out. He could easily kick Tyler Perry's big fat black ass. I'm not buying that the guy was just this helpless damsel in distress. Oh, the humanity. Oh, the Tyler Perry. He wore the Medea gown and he grabbed me and he told me to just let it happen. And then he said, "Woo, child." He did the Medea voice and he had a gun in his purse. And shut the fuck up, bro. Like, it's so funny because, you know, the reason you see people in the comments that are always like going for this and believing this is because if they could, they would too. And they're looking for someone to target. They're trying to find somebody that'll let them get close enough to them that they can accuse because they're also scumbags. You know, that's how it is in a country like the United States. You have one person with success, and then you have a whole ecosystem built around that one person, and then you have the leeches that are trying to figure out how they can sue this person for something that happened and make up a story to get some of their money. They don't want to go earn it on their own. They don't want to go get it out the mud. They don't want to make it on their own volition. They want to take it from you. I mean, don't forget, this is America. We got criminals. We got people that do home invasion robberies. They want you to go out, work for it, buy it, take it home, and then they want to steal it. So this is the same premise, except they're using the legal system to legally extort you instead of just physically rob you. Still the same outcome. Somebody taking what you worked for, and literally, there's no protections against it. Zero.
Again, on either side of this, because again, we don't have all the evidence. This hasn't gone to trial. I don't know if it will go to trial, but I'm trying to give each person benefit of the doubt here. But if he filed this a year ago, he's talking about June of 2024 with the Equal Employment and Opportunity Commission. Could it be that he has tried to sue or has been in conversation with Tyler Perry in regards to some sort of settlement, and maybe someone advised him to take this route in regards to you should file a complaint with the EEOC, and then this will set you up for filing a lawsuit later? I don't know, because there are some people that are that calculated, but it is important to note the dates. So he filed this a year ago. He filed this complaint with the EEOC back in June of 2024. And then he quit the Oval, saying that he could no longer put up with the alleged sexual harassment. So Dixon is suing Tyler and Tyler Perry Studios for quid pro quo and workplace sexual harassment and sexual assault and battery. And he's seeking $260 million in damages. Tyler's attorney, Matthew Boyd, tells TMZ this is an individual who got close to Tyler Perry for what now appears to be nothing more than setting up a scam. But Tyler will not be shaken down, and we are confident that these fabricated claims of harassment will fail.
I'll be honest with you. All my evidence and life experience tells me Alex Fine only got close to Cassie and married her knowing her history, knowing her character, knowing that she's a cheater and a liar. He only did it so he could make a play to become a millionaire. The same reason why this man flirted with Tyler Perry and got close to him for years, just so he can eventually sue him. Alex Fine married Cassie knowing she was still sleeping with Diddy. He didn't care about that. He cared about the money. I feel like I said, a lot of people are in this for the they're in it for the money, and they understand. They've watched other people sue. They've watched the ones who had successful lawsuits and the ones who failed, and they see where they went wrong, and they're now trying to perfect their craft. I'm literally watching it happen, and you're seeing the same pattern repeat over and over again. Now we can see an example here that sexuality doesn't make you immune. Even a gay man will try to pretend that he's a defenseless, helpless woman that just could not say no, and he's just, I can't work under these conditions no more. Well, if you get 260 million, you'll never have to work again. If you get 50 million, you get 25 million. Your lawyers are going to take 30%. You're still eating millions. You were never going to make millions as an actor. They were paying you, what, $19,000 per episode because you were a friend of his. You got the hookup. Everybody else making 10,000 episodes. You're getting double almost. Come on. All these are money plays. But again, there's a list of successful black men in this country. If any of them are smart, like they claim they are, they're going to do what the only smart black man so far in American history has ever done, which is they would have done what Russell Simmons did. Remember, when it came to Russell Simmons, the lawsuits were piling up, stolen to criminal cases. I think they were maybe a week away from raiding Russell Simmons' office and arresting him. And Russell Simmons was going to be in the same position as R. Kelly, P. Diddy, Tory Lanez. Russell Simmons was going to go to prison for the rest of his life because of allegations women made about him from the 70s and the 80s. Russell Simmons, no proof, no physical anything, and he was going down. And Russell was smart enough to liquidate his assets, sneak to one country, fly into Bali, and never return. No extradition treaty. If these other rappers were smart, that's what they would have done. Tory Lanez, that's what he should have done. Why would you risk rolling the dice in the American legal system if collectively the black community agrees that the American system is racist, oppressive, evil? Then why would you even risk it? As soon as you know there's charges or allegations against you, why not just leave and never return? Why do you think you're going to get a fair shake in the court if you've already conceded that the country is racist? That's why I said, a lot of men are naive. Men are not that smart. If he was smart, he would have left. Tyler Perry, he's too big to leave. But I don't know. I don't think him running from this is going to help because he's too embedded. He doesn't have accounts in other countries, not doing business in other countries. He's focused here. Even if he leaves, they can seize his assets here. I don't think his portfolio is big enough. He only probably speaks one language, English. So I don't see him being Mr. International. But this is just the beginning. I guarantee you, before the end of this weekend, no, by the end of next week, there's going to be another one or two male accusers that are going to come out and say that Tyler Perry touched them, forced them, coerced them, and they had to quit certain shows because they weren't giving him what he wanted. Everyone who's listening to this case against Tyler Perry, everyone's going to have their own version. That's the same story, small variations. Same story. Because when you throw an injured animal into the water and they're cut and there's blood in the water, the sharks are going to smell it. When the grass is cut, the snakes will show. The government wants those Tyler Perry assets. The man has his own airport. The government wants their cut. Everyone who's ever met him wants their cut. Everyone who never succeeded and became a billionaire, millionaire wants their cut. And they are going to get it. I guess that's where the phrase death from 1,000 cuts come from. Well, do me a favor, like and subscribe, share the video. I'll go over the list with you guys later on today about the other men. They're all black that are all going to be charged in the Southern District of New York in the next 2 years. See, they're not even doing these cases consecutively. They're going one by one by one by one. The legal system is starving. They have to charge everyone under Rico because there's less people committing crime. You're going to need to ensnare as many people as you can to keep warm bodies in these cold courtrooms, or the legal system's going to die. Knowing that is why I've already taken steps to move out of the country. don't want to end up I don't want to end up ensnared in somebody's legal system. And when you go to court and you're arrested, now you can't leave the country. You have to stay here. You're better off setting up base somewhere else and just coming here when you need to. It's too dangerous here. You can't date. You can't really do anything, especially if you're a man and you're not married. I mean, could you imagine marrying one of these American women in this climate? Are you insane? Like and subscribe, share the video, The Single Boyfriend on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all platforms. Club Rico. I'll be back in about an hour. Thank you for tuning in and share the video. Cheers.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.